Ladies and gentlemen, good evening. I have always opined on this platform that in politics nothing happens out of mere coincidence, and that everything in politics is normally well planned, well scripted, and executed to achieve a specific political objective. Earlier last year, David Murathe, who is a close associate of President Uhuru Kenyatta, announced plans to evict the Deputy President, Dr. William Ruto, from his current residence, the eviction party. And that statement by David Murathe was actually intended to achieve certain political objectives. I want you to listen to David Murathe because of late there are actual plans to kick out William Ruto out of his current residence. Listen in to David Murathe briefly before we proceed.
What my friend Caleb is not telling you is that there are divorce clauses in everything, including that cooperation or coalition agreement with PDR, which we are told was also fraudulently converted into UDA, because that Senate leader, Duro, that Kagata spoke about, has gone publicly to say they were not involved as a rank and file of the PDR party. These guys went and paid off officials of the PDR, took over. In fact, there is a challenge right now. And like I said, when you have a coalition agreement with somebody, there's always an exit clause about how you can stop doing that. And that one is coming. About the DP, I think the eviction party of the Hasla mansion is loading. That one you can take to the bank. Very soon there will be an eviction party from the Hasla mansion in Karen, and I can assure you it is loading.
Impeachment of the Deputy President William Ruto.
However it happens, they are getting out. And finally...
Now, that's David Murathe. David Murathe is not your ordinary politician. He's a close ally of President Uhuru Kenyatta and is the face of President Uhuru Kenyatta. And that can explain why, when David Murathe resigned as the Jubilee Vice Chairperson, President Uhuru Kenyatta had to reinstate him back. And it also explains why, when President Uhuru Kenyatta and Raila Odinga formed the Azimio One Kenya political party, David Murathe was actually chosen as one of the officials of that outfit. And earlier last week, there were reports again that the Ministry of Public Works had actually issued a notice of eviction to the Deputy President to vacate the official residence in Karen because they want to renovate it for a new occupant. And I remember the Deputy President himself responding this way.
I want to tell the good people who want to assist us with the renovation that for Kenya Kwanza, renovating the residence of the Deputy President is not a priority. The priority is to sort out the hunger of the close to 3 million Kenyans who today are sleeping hungry. There are many people who are obsessed with positions and with largesse about leaders. I want to persuade them for a difference that please, we have 3 million Kenyans today facing starvation.
Now, in this video today, I want us to look at this eviction from current residence. Can President Uhuru Kenyatta evict William Ruto out of current residence at this particular time? Before we get into all those details, if you are watching this channel for the first time, I want you to take a second or two and click the subscribe button so that next time we produce a video like this, YouTube will automatically notify you. And to the subscribers, I want to continue. Thank you guys for your continued support. Now, I want to introduce to you guys a global merchant platform. It's alright. I want you guys to visit their website below. It's a platform where you can sell and buy anything and everything. The good news is that it's actually owned by Kenyans who are outside the country, and one of the subscribers on this platform. So just take your time, go to that platform. I know it's going to add value to our lives in one way or the other. Now, let us get back to business. Can President Uhuru Kenyatta successfully evict the deputy president from his official residence? Of course, by next year, not even by next year, by August 10th, hopefully, the residence of the deputy president in Karen will have a new boss. So William Ruto, whether he becomes the president or not, he's going to vacate that official residence. If he becomes the president of the Republic of Kenya, he's actually going to move to State House. If he's defeated, then he's going to move to Sugoi, and that residence will be under someone else. But why is it that the deputy president is not willing to vacate that residence? Of course, you remember at some point, the office, the official residence of the deputy president was actually turned into political center, some kind of political coordination center, where he would meet delegations, he would hold his kind of mini rallies at that residence. At some point, he even converted it into kind of a church. I don't know whether mosque was also there. But can the president evict him there? And why are there plans to even evict him? In my view, I think the president might not really want to evict the deputy president, because that will create chaos. But I tend to think that the president is actually keen on just passing a message to the deputy president. And in my view, the president is trying to achieve these 5 political objectives. Number 1, by telling the deputy president to leave that residence, I think what the president is trying to do is to provoke the DP to resign or to react. Of course, we know William Ruto cannot resign, because by resigning, the deputy president is going to lose a lot. So he can't resign until the next election. But I think President Uhuru Kenyatta is actually just trying to provoke him so that he can see how he's going to react. And of course, we saw the deputy president reacting in a very funny way, that Kenyans are suffering, that instead of spending money on the renovation, they could spend those money on other matters. The truth of the matter is that were it not for the fallout, the deputy president today would have residences in at least 10 counties. I can count for you, the deputy president will be having a residence manned by taxpayers, catered for by taxpayers in Nakuru, to coordinate his Rift Valley activities, political activities. He would be having another one in Mombasa to coordinate his activities in Mombasa. He would have another one in Kakamega to coordinate his political activities in Western. The deputy president would have one, I think, either in Kisii or in Kisumu, to coordinate his political activities in Nyanza. The deputy president would have another one in Central Kenya, maybe Nyeri, to coordinate his activities in Nyeri. I'm saying so because before the fallout, just before President Uhuru Kenyatta and William Ruto fell out, the deputy president had actually started renovating one of the government offices or buildings in Mombasa with the intention of moving to it and converting it into his political coordination center. So the president stopped him. In fact, he was stopped just before he entered into that building. I remember even his clothes had been moved to that place. So his staff were actually just removed, evicted from that building. But the deputy president is saying that renovating that building at this time is not necessary. And I agree with him, because we are in a political season, and that's good politics for him. Kenyans are really suffering. And even me, I would not accept a situation where, for example, the government spends, let's say 50 million on renovating a building, which in my view has consumed so much money, so much taxpayers' money. Before the deputy president moved into that building, I think Kenyans spent close to almost 500 million just to renovate it before he entered. So I think they just wanted to see how the DP was going to react. Number 2, I also tend to think that strategically, what Uhuru Kenyatta is trying to do is trying to scare the deputy president from using that government property for his political events. Remember, William Ruto has official residence, and he also has the official office where he's operating from, the office of the Deputy President Annex, which he hardly attends to. So these guys, in my view, what they wanted to do was that they wanted to scare the DP from using this residence, because by telling him that I want to evict you, and that eviction party can happen anytime, and the DP had intended, let's say he had intended to host a political event and in that residence, then even the people attending would be scared. So I think they want just to scare the DP from using that building, because one thing the Deputy President had intended to do with that residence was basically to convert it into kind of a campaign coordination center. And now that that office, they cannot no longer use it the way they used to be. I think there were instructions to the guards there not to allow people to attend to that event, because remember that building, that residence, had actually been converted into kind of a campaign center. And I remember at some point the residents in Karen were complaining. I don't know whether it's still happening, but I've not seen the Deputy President hosting delegations after delegations in that residence. But the idea behind this, in my view, was to scare the DP from using that residence. Number three, I think it also could be President Uhuru Kenyatta's polite way of reminding the Deputy President that the time to exit has reached. Remember, there were people who were telling the President that Maliza wende. Some of them were defeated. So I think, in a way, the Deputy President is just being reminded that, you know, you've been a Deputy President, you've served, and the time when you thought that this building was going to be there for good, the time for exit has reached. And that's why they're telling him that we want to renovate this building to allow the new occupant. Of course, William Ruto, whichever way the elections goes, whether he wins or not, is not going to be there. So he's saying to allow the new occupant to come in and find a good place. And in my view, I think as much as sometimes we dispute things, one of the things we must agree to is that we need to have laws in this country. And some of the laws which we need to have is ones which will guide, for example, the renovation. How often should we be renovating these buildings? Because if a new guy is going to come in and the office is not renovated, what next? So I think it's just a reminder that the time is up. And number four, in my view, strategically, Uhuru Kenyatta, the Deputy President, has been campaigning on a platform of a hustler. Now, by this guy saying that they want to renovate that building, and the next day, the next thing they are going to do, they'll definitely just give the figures that this renovating this building will be like, let's say, 100 million. Kenyans will start making noise, and then they'll remind the Kenyans that before the DP got in, that building was renovated at a cost of 500 million. So Kenyans will start figuring out how Ruto is a hustler, when in real sense, his residence is being paid for by the government, being renovated for by the government. And I intend to think that's what he's trying to avoid. That these guys are going to tell Kenyans that the office, the residence of the DP is actually a government residence paid for and maintained by the government. But he's telling people down here that he is a hustler. And lastly, I also tend to think that probably these guys are trying to force the DP to resign. And I want to assure them that there is no way William Samoei Arap Ruto, the man from Sugoi, will resign from government. Anything can happen to DP, but not to resign from the government. William Ruto cannot campaign as an outsider. As things stand today, he's the Deputy President, he's enjoying what comes with that office, maybe because he delivered to Jubilee, but expecting William Ruto to resign from government is like expecting President Uhuru Kenyatta to endorse Alice Kandara for the Kandara parliamentary seat. I don't know what you think. That's my take. Thank you, guys. And I've seen here, nimeletewa popcorns. My wife has brought me some popcorns here. So if you want, yeah. Bye-bye.